Okay, this is the August update for the LEGO 3 Halo Harry Potter mod. I think I said that right. Last week I talked about the LEGO Warthog and I wanted to make the pieces fall off it. So behold, all of the pieces that fall off the LEGO Warthog. There are and the associated turret. I believe there are 39 individual pieces that fall off. This has taken all month basically, and of course those are 39 unique pieces because something like the wheel, there's 4 wheels. So yeah, you can take a good look at these pieces. I'll show you from more of a bird's eye view. And so as you damage the Warthog, these pieces will fall off the Warthog in various bits, as you're about to see. So each of these pieces has its own collision object and physics object, and I will explain what that is now. Right, so these are all the pieces in Blender. For example, minor pieces fall off when minor damage is taken, and so on, and these are just for the Warthog. They don't include the turret ones, and that's why the numbers don't add up. So for example, this is a steering wheel bit in Blender, and that's what it looks like in game. It's fallen into the floor slightly, just because of where I placed it. So yeah, that's you can see all of it. Sorry, low production quality today. I'm in a bit of a hurry. And this has a collision object associated with it. So what is the collision object? Well, it's like this is what you actually collide with when you shoot it, and the physics object is identical in this case. And the reason it's simplified is to save on the processing power of your computer, because I care about you, the player. And so each of these has a collision object, a physics object, and that's why something like this takes so long. So yeah, I don't store all the collision and physics objects, but obviously something like this has to have a different shape to the steering wheel. And they can all be collided with in-game. Let me get my trusty assault rifle. So the reason they're floating is because they've just spawned in and I haven't hit them yet, but yeah, if I were to walk into them or to apply some force, you can see how that works. And yeah, they behave sort of as you'd expect them to behave, and they come off the Warthog in pieces. So let's do a recap of how that works. So one of the reasons this took so long is, for example, this part here in the Warthog has the studs along it. But when you look at the Warthog as a whole, the studs aren't actually there. And I can prove that to you by selecting the things on top of it and hiding them. So why aren't the studs there on this? Well, it's to save on the processing power of the game, because you can't see these. So why would you render something that you can't see? And these things are very expensive in terms of their cost to render. So that's 105 vertices. Vertices are points in 3D space, which when joined together makes the object. And the faces are these 3 vertices when joined together have this face. And that is how 3D models work in games, so I hope you learned something. So that made it take longer, but I'm not here to make excuses. So how does it work? Well, essentially there are actually 5 Warthogs. And the Warthog has its own collision model, not that one, this one. And that, yeah. So the Warthog is split into these chunks, and when you damage one of these chunks, it moves through the 5 states of not damaged, minor damage, medium damage, major damage, and destroyed. And and pieces come off when it's minor damage, pieces come off when it's major damage, pieces come off when it's destroyed. So I hope that makes sense. And just to recap, so this is what the base Warthog looks like. These globes are markers which define where the pieces pop off, and some other things within the engine. So this is the base Warthog. This is all of the parts of the Warthog when they have taken minor damage. This is all of the parts of the Warthog when they have taken medium damage. This is all of the parts of the Warthog when they have taken major damage. And this is what all the sections look like when they're destroyed. But you understand that not all of the sections get destroyed at once. And that will explain what you're about to see, which is me shooting bits of Warthog. So let's shoot some things. My trusty turret here. And I'm going to shoot the front of this Warthog. So you see the smaller pieces fall through the structure. That is an engine limitation. But you see that all of the parts of the windshield have fallen off, the front bumper's fallen off, it's making a hissing sound, and this is like the internals of the engine. So the bigger pieces will actually impede your progress, right, because it's a massive chunk of your own vehicle. And so if you try and run it over, it's going to cause you some issues. So yeah, it looks good, I think. I mean, there's always improvements to be made. I've been given a lot of advice on making these materials look better, adding scratches to them to make them look better, things like that. There's a limit to my time and ability, basically. But yeah, you can walk on this and you can, you know, drive over it and so on. So it is it's an interactive bit of your own vehicle that you just lost because somebody shot you. So let's shoot some more things. All right, well that's in the way now. So yeah, if I was just to walk up to this and jump in and start punching it, you'll see that bits fall off as I damage my own vehicle. And the pieces get bigger as the damage states go through, so like that's a pretty significant chunk. Oh, there goes my steering wheel. I just lost the back. And yeah, you can still drive this, yeah, because of the way the destruction works, every time you drive one of these and you take damage, you're going to end up with a slightly different looking Warthog because of the parts that have taken damage and so on. So it's a really great dynamic system. And I'm about to take a sip of coffee, which I will fix with the power of editing. And yeah, so let's shoot some more of the Warthog. That's a small bug. You see the studs disappeared there. As that part was shot off, that is a bug, I'll fix that. So yeah, you see bits of the floor falling off. And if you shoot it enough, you will lose the whole Warthog. So yeah, I believe that is a fully wrecked Warthog now that you will... Oh no! Oh, never mind, that's this one. Yeah. After a certain amount of time you will lose functionality. So the pieces don't come off correctly in some cases. They kind of they come off in the wrong orientation and things like that. So that is something I can fix. Oh, there goes the ejector seat. Yeah, and when it blows up, all the wheels come off, which I think is really funny. Yeah, so I mean, it's taken a whole month. You can just show me shooting some bits of Warthog some more, but that's it basically. There was more I wanted to do, but I ran out of time. These things, they take so long to do. See if we can get this wheel to pop off. There we go. And yeah, once again, you can still drive these, and the grenades will fling the little pieces around and stuff like that. And I think it makes for a really interesting and dynamic experience. So I lost my front wheel here, and I'm sinking down, and this Warthog looks totally different to the one I just drove around because I've destroyed different parts of it. And you can see it's kind of on its last legs. So I drive over the debris of my own vehicle, and of course it is handling slightly different because I've lost the front wheel. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this August update. I wish I had more to show for it, but like I said, this takes a long time. But I think it's really worth it, because this Warthog is going to be used in the final Warthog chase scene along the top of the Hogwarts Express, and I think it's worth the time. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you next month.